Hey, what's up, guys? Finally back here with new gameplay. I know it's a bit overdue. Can't help it too much. Been away. You know, usual things. But now we're back. And like I said, I know it's a bit late for this tank. I know it's going out of the store in like a couple hours, actually. But I guess better late than never. So we're going to be looking at the, as you guessed by the title, the LT-432, the new Tier 8 Russian premium light tank they added. My first impression of this tank so far, just an overall, is that it's not nearly as good as it was on PC. Which, to an extent, is probably not, it's probably a somewhat good thing. As much as I'd love to play the PC version and how good it is, it's probably a little too good on PC. But some of the things they changed, I think I would not have done. I think they could have just done like one of the things and it would have been fine. One thing, they got rid of about 50 horsepower on it, so it went from about, I think 850 to 800 horsepower, which doesn't sound like a lot, but it is. And it just makes the tank feel a little sluggish, in my opinion. And I'd rather have the mobility back rather than increase the rate of fire. I'd like to have both, but again, I don't know this. I've heard some complaints from very basic, just watching like some like Circon. That's all I really watch on PC. But that this thing's a little cheesy on PC, so But if I had to choose between the two, I'd rather have that 50 horsepower back that they took off of this version compared to the PC version. They also reduced the rate of fire. I don't know off the top of my head what it was on PC, but I know it's on console. I think it's around 10 rounds a minute, which, if I remember right, is about, I think, around a half per minute less than the LTTB. Which again isn't ideal, but you can always see it as a benefit in some ways if you really want to stretch it, in that you're not going to run out of ammo as quickly. Maybe I've definitely had some issues in LTTB doing that, but another kind of thing is, and you may see this if you're keen-eyed, and I'm going to compare it to the LTTB a lot because they're both Russian Tier 8 lights and they play kind of similarly, but not really. Sort of. Is that this thing actually holds 50 rounds in it, unlike the LTTB only holds 42. And that's where this thing actually has an advantage over the LTTB, and is in like the gun handling and the ammo capacity, which is nice, as we get splashed for 6 damage by the person firing HE. What an amazing player. But with the extra 8 rounds of ammo in this thing, at least I found personally, that I can actually, as you can see, I can actually load some HE rounds in this tank, which I don't do in the LTTB. And that's just because I like to have that ammo, like the consistent ammo is what I kind of mean. And only having 42 rounds doesn't always happen. It's just kind of risky. I don't like it. But this tank, I can afford to do that. I think just carry 2. That's what I like to do. And then I still have plenty of ammo left over, so I think it's a good combination. This thing also has, I believe, a slightly faster aim time. It's disgusting on the move occasionally, as that shot was filthy. But it's fine. But yeah, I think the aim time's a little better. I think the dispersion may also be a little bit better. You can correct me on that if I'm mistaken. Like I said, I don't really have the time to do full research like some other folks may do, but I try my best. But yeah, it's got some benefits to it. It's not all just negative compared to the Tier 8s, the LTTB. And this is, again, I'm okay with it. It's just because my opinion on like prem tanks is still kind of old school, and that when I first played, prem tanks were generally worse than the tier 8 texture tanks. So stuff like the IS-6 and like Yagi, stuff like that, was actually worse than the tier 8s you could unlock by actually playing instead of just paying for them. But that's just my opinion. Yeah, so. But I'm also the kind of opinion that, like, if you introduce something on another platform, that it should be similar to it. Just because, but I don't know. I'm not going to get into all the arguments. I just try not to. I just play the game. In the words of a great. I'm just here so I don't get fined. But overall, like I said, this thing's kind of been underwhelming for me. I don't think I've even aced it yet. Actually, I've played maybe 20 games in it so far. And for me, I haven't had that like, wow, that was a great game. That was a lot of fun. This one may be up there just because of what happens at the end. But I don't. It just doesn't do. I don't know. It just feels kind of slow and sluggish compared to other light tanks I've played. The ELC that they added is actually something I've actually enjoyed just because it's kind of memes. I'll just be honest, but this thing's still good. It's not like unplayable or anything. That's just not the case. But I think now it can only go about 65 kph versus I think it probably was close to 70 before. Something I do like about this though is this. The low profile of this tank means I can get right next to Japanese heavies and they're not going to hit me. LTTB, I can't do that. I also have to worry about getting yelled at by IS-3s who actually help teammates, which is quite amazing, by the way. He's aiming at Jack and then he comes after me. Actually, is helping teammates, but unfortunately for us, we damaged the OO's ammo earlier, so that kind of saves the day. And we're gonna pull off the little sneaky Top Gun. Again, this is probably the best damage game I've had so far. And it's still only a first class. Maybe that's just my high standards. These are still good games, but they're not up to what I usually like to post. By any stretch of the means. Most of you know, probably usually wouldn't make the cut right here. But I know you guys have been waiting to see this tank and some of my thoughts on it, and as well as the ELC. ELC I've had some really good games in recently, but they've been losses. And I know some people would like to show the losses, would like me to show them. And sometimes I will, but I'm a bit of a sore loser. So that's the thing. But let's see, I'm still probably doing very consistent in these tanks. ELC's been more fun for me so far, but the LT's fun too. It's just, I don't know. It just feels like it's lacking a little bit. Again, it's not totally a bad thing, but eh. And again, this crew I have is my LTTB crew, so there's no real difference in either one. It's not like I recruited a new crew, so the playing field's level there. And just so far, my opinion is I still like the LTTB better, just for what it does, the speed, maneuverability, just overall I like it more. Which it's gonna be pretty hard to dethrone that tank. As anybody that's been here on the channel for a very long time, or even a short time knows. It's going to be hard to dethrone the LTTB as my favorite tank in the game. It's going to be really hard to do that. And you're going to degrade some other tanks too now. Like this is not probably more fun than the Turtle for me. It's just, I wouldn't rank it above that. I don't know where I'd rank. It's definitely better than, say, the HMH 58 piece of crap. I mean, what? yeah, it's definitely better than that. So I don't have that kind of a issue with it. Like I said, I still kind of enjoy it. I just feel like I need more time to do damage. Just because the reload is, I think, it'll pop up on the screen, but it's just shy of 5 seconds. Versus the LTTB's reload for the same crew, same equipment setup, which I'll go over in a second, but is around 4.32 seconds or so, if I remember right. And yeah, that's running with equipment. I think it's probably Verts stabs, rammer, and optics. More than likely, you could probably get a little more if you switch out the Vert stabs for events. That's always an option. It's just kind of personal preference. I always go with the prior one, just because it kind of has always served me well. But overall, I've been enjoying it. And of course, you know, the consumables always stay the same. It's always larger period med kit and the rations. But here you can kind of, I don't know if I get the kill. Yeah, I do. But I just feel like I'm waiting a while before I can get that second round off for only 180 alpha. Yeah, 4.96 seconds on the reload. And I just don't know how I feel about that. When you have a tank like speak of the devil, the American Bulldog that we just shot, he knew I was talking about him. But yeah, something like the Hellhound, or yeah, you know, the 90mm Bulldog. That's a prime tank. It has roughly the same reload of this, slightly longer, I think. Top of my head, like just over 5 seconds. But it has 240 alpha on on its gun. So I kind of disagree with that too. You know, I mean, it doesn't make a lot of sense in my head. It's just my opinion. That something that does 60 more alpha damage should have more, or about the same reload. Doesn't really make a lot of sense to me personally. But what you gonna do? I can't really do anything about it. I have no power over these things, so I just play the game. Hopefully I'll start getting some more videos out here soon for you all, but so it may be a little slower now because I don't, just an update for tanks and overall just what you should expect schedule wise now. Probably closer to maybe 2 or 3 videos a week, maybe. Yeah, it's just because of, frankly, I have a vehicle now, so I'm not going to be just solely playing tanks every night. That's what I had to do before, basically, because, yeah, no vehicle. So I was just kind of stuck in place. But now I can do some other stuff that I like to do besides just, yeah, playing this, which is a good thing for you. Tanks also, I won't get burnt out, hopefully, as quickly. Yeah. Hopefully that's the case. We'll see. But, yeah. Like I said, I think my streaming, I'm going to try to stick to this about, try to stream like Tuesdays and Thursdays or so for anybody that watches on Twitch. But, and then depending on the weekend, whatever I'm doing, I don't know, we'll see. But that's the rough idea. And then if there's anything else in between where I have free time, we'll go for it. But it's just a little update for everybody on what to expect in the future right now. And what's gonna kind of be the norm. Something else, and I don't know the exact facts on this tank. Again, not the stats guy, never have been. Maybe it's surprising, I don't know. What the camera values on this tank are, I don't know them off the top of my head, and I'm probably not going to do the research either, just because, frankly, I don't have the time to do that. It could be very quick to do, but being a little bit lazy. But I think I was in party with Jack, and even I think it was him. That this tank's camo doesn't feel like it's that great. Even when I've been playing it, just from a gut feeling perspective, it hasn't felt as sneaky as like something else. And that's saying something, because this has an 18 per crew in it, so it should be sneaky. I mean, it's still sneaky, it's a light tank, but compared to the other light tanks I've played, especially the ELC. The ELC even, the 90, or the Vanguard, quote unquote, is ridiculous. Some of the spots I've been in and not get spotted. Like, it's craziness. But yeah, it's somebody else knows, feel free to put it in the comments. Also, you know, wonderful Russian guns are a great thing. But we'll also see here in a second the also benefit of Russian light tanks that I've come to expect in the LTTB. That it's also a submersible vehicle. Who knew? No, but now we're just gonna push the UDES into its natural habitat. I mean, no, sorry, that's already done. And you know, we're just gonna casually bounce the 152 from the ISU in the meantime, because Soviet Russia says no to, denies the other Russian troll cannon. I didn't talk about the armor much, actually, which I should have probably touched on a little bit. I still have a little bit of time. I think it's about 100 millimeters on the front plate. It could be 80. Again, I'm sorry about the stats. I wish I could have played this more and got the better idea of it. I think it may be 80 actually. But that with the turret armor, it's actually fairly bouncy, especially at the angle. I'd even argue that it may be even better than the LTTB frontally for bouncing rounds. And that's just because the angle of the upper plate, if you can get it on a slight reverse slope, just a little bit, you're going to bounce stuff fairly consistently. I was even going to bounce it, not consistently, but like for a light tank, you could get some troll bounces. I even got bouncing like the Foch 120 millimeter gun. But like I said, hopefully I can get some better games in the future for you guys in this tank. Still 4,800 combined, but you know, I have high standards. But hopefully you enjoyed. Hopefully you got something from this. Got an idea what I like about this thing, what I don't. See you.